ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
If we see these trends continue, the potential for a stay-at-home order for those regions in purple.
With COVID-19 cases surging, Governor Gavin Newsom says we could be headed for the same sort of restrictions imposed back in March and April. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. 51 of the 58 counties in California are now in the purple tier, and our healthcare system could be overrun here in the coming weeks. Our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty explains why Newsom says he may have no choice but to clamp down.
The red flags are flying.
Governor Gavin Newsom waving the red flag of what's to come.
Here's a slide that should be sobering to everybody,
Slide showing ICU beds could be at full capacity by Christmas Eve, with Southern California showing a 107% capacity. The state considering another stay-at-home order like we saw at the start of the pandemic. Now 51 of 58 counties are in the most restrictive purple tier, including San Diego. The governor tweeting, California has worked hard to prepare for this surge, but cannot sustain the record high cases we are seeing.
If we see these trends continue, the potential for a stay-at-home order for those regions in purple because of hospitalizations and ICUs. We're not just now looking at positivity rates. We're not now just looking at case rates. We are now looking in real time at hospitalization numbers and ICU capacity.
Newsom is urging everyone to stay home as much as possible over the next few weeks.
We are doing all that we can to anticipate the surge.
Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Mark Galley reminding everyone that activities you saw a month ago now puts you at a higher risk than ever before, and that today's numbers are the tip of the iceberg.
The high case numbers that we've seen in the last week and 10 days have not even begun to impact hospitals yet. We know that it takes about 2 weeks. So a few days ago when we had a case level of 18,000 plus cases in the state, what that tells us is that's not yet impacted the hospitals, the emergency rooms, the ICUs.
Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
Newsom says that California is also expecting about 327,000 vaccines from Pfizer in mid-December. Guidelines for who will get it are expected this week.
Here are the latest numbers. The county reported 959 new cases today, bringing our total to over 82,000. There were no new reported deaths, which is typical for a Monday, so that number remains at 997. San Diego's cooler temperatures have restaurants coming up with unique ways to dine outdoors. But as ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco shows us, some setups are safer than others.
There is no lunch rush at Perioli Italian Bistro in Solana Beach. The longtime family-owned restaurant is open just 4 days a week now.
The problem is retaining employees because we had to cut their hours since we know we don't have a lot of business.
Like countless restaurants across San Diego County banned from indoor dining, Piero Tarantino invested in an outdoor setup.
It's not comfortable, because you have heat coming from one side, but then the rest of your body's cold.
Restaurants across the country are coming up with unique ways to dine outside, from igloos to individual pods, tents, and canopies. Dr. Anne Ramoyne is a UCLA epidemiologist. She says some of these outdoor settings still don't have adequate ventilation.
The issue is that it needs to be completely open, wide open. Ventilation, if you have a roof, if you have sides, that is not outdoors. Outdoors means in the open air.
California's Department of Public Health recently issued the following criteria for what classifies a setting as outdoor. 50% of the structure has non-adjacent impermeable walls. Circular structures with 50% non-continuous impermeable walls. Ceilings, roofs, umbrellas, or canopies with no walls. Outdoor dining is banned right now in Los Angeles. Tarantino says if that happens here, it would be the final blow.
Now we are in a position where we're not able to pay rent, and he's asking me to move out.
Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says right now there is no plan to shut down outdoor dining in San Diego. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
Health experts also say that people dining outside should try to maintain more than 6 feet of separation when they're not wearing a mask with people outside their household.
The California Department of Public Health is recommending hospitals test their workers for coronavirus each week. The state is also recommending hospitals test all patients before admitting them and to promptly test current patients who show symptoms. The department is recommending the weekly testing start by December the 14th. A San Diego church continues to hold services at several locations despite multiple cease and desist orders and an outbreak. We saw people not wearing masks walking out of Awaken Church's indoor service yesterday. 3 of Awaken Church's locations have received cease and desist orders, yet a video posted to their website says they will still gather in person and indoors. One of the 3 Awaken Churches had an outbreak.
The Awaken Church in general has continued to be very defiant and continue to put the members of their church at great risk and continue to not cooperate as we seek to investigate positive cases.
A local constitutional law professor says the more conservative U.S. Supreme Court may now be more sympathetic to churches claiming religious freedom violations.
Some San Diegans relying on unemployment to get by have been fighting for their benefits for months. California doesn't directly deposit unemployment insurance payments into people's bank accounts. Instead, it sends them debit cards from Bank of America. And this is done to make sure that people without bank accounts can still access their unemployment benefits. But the cards are susceptible to theft and skimming devices. Airport shuttle driver Gary Hito says $4,200 of his benefits are gone.
When I call, they said they will send me another card. After they send me another card, the situation is the same.
Well, Bank of America tells KPBS it has begun the process of working on Hito's claim. You can stay on top of new developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
The Navy has decided to decommission and scrap the USS Bonhomme Richard. A massive fire in July damaged the ship beyond repair. Our ABC 10 News investigative reporter Jennifer Kastner spoke exclusively with the man who fought the fire for days and understands the devastation.
The USS Bonhomme Richard warship will officially be decommissioned after it was gutted this summer during an explosive fire at Naval Base San Diego. Monday, the Navy said it's not cost-effective to bring the ship back, which would take an estimated $3 billion to restore and require up to 7 years of work.
It was a crazy situation.
Deputy Fire Chief Robert Sepulveda is a contract firefighter for the Navy. In an exclusive interview with ABC 10 News, he recently shared his story.
We approximately had about 400 plus firefighters on scene at the time. I was on the front lines with the firefighters, and we're directing fire attack on the forward side of the ship.
His first shift lasted for 30 hours straight. It took almost a week to knock it all down.
What I was feeling at the time was obviously that fear. I want to make sure that everybody's safe on scene. And I just wanted to make sure I had that command presence to be able to unify everybody.
He has now received a Civilian of the Year award for his heroic actions. More than 60 personnel, including sailors and civilians, were treated for injuries like heat exhaustion and smoke inhalation. In August, ABC 10 News was the first to report that the fire was being investigated as an arson, and the lead suspect is a Navy sailor, according to multiple sources with close ties to NCIS. To date, the Navy will only confirm that the cause is still under investigation. Sepulveda remains grateful to the many sailors who ran to help minutes after the flames erupted.
These ships are like homes to them, and to see them in action and put everything on the line to ensure that their home was safe at the end of the day, it's just incredible.
The timelines now for towing and dismantling the warship are still being finalized by the Navy. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
A post on the Nextdoor social network could provide a clue about the murder of a woman in Carlsbad. It's now been 1 week since someone stabbed Lisa Thorborg to death on the Hosp Grove Trail. Police say 2 weeks before she died, Thorborg asked on Nextdoor if anyone would care to join her for hikes and walks. And they're now conducting interviews based on that post. Yesterday, a group of people in the community came together to finish the walk that she started last Monday.
We don't want our parks taken away from us, and we don't want to live in fear.
So far, the tip involving a man seen in the area around the time of the murder has not panned out. Anyone with information is asked to call Carlsbad police. A police chase ended today with a car crashing into a traffic light. The driver refused to pull over on 5 South today and led police on a chase into Chula Vista. He crashed after exiting the freeway on H Street. The ABC 10 News breaking news tracker was there when the man was driven away in an ambulance. No word yet on his injuries or why he refused to pull over.